Hello, this is Victor. I'm here with a new unit in depth, and this time I'm going to talk about the chosen Chaos Space Marines from the Chaos Space Marines Codex. So let's start with the stats first and on the options, and I will explain later on how I see them on the battlefield. So for 90 points, we have four chosen and a chosen champion. All of them have the same profile, except that the chosen champion is also a character. So they have weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4, strength 4, toughness 4, like any Space Marines, 1 wound, initiative 4, 2 attacks, leadership 9, and 3 plus save. So if we compare to any other Space Marines, they have better leadership and 2 attacks. They are like a veteran sergeant. They are equipped with power armor, ball gun, ball pistol, close combat weapons, so they have all the options. Frag and crack grenades, and yeah, and only special rule is the champion of chaos is have the champion of chaos rule. So that have to issue and accept always challenges, and if he wants a challenge, then he have to roll on the mutation table. We can add this up to 5 chosen for 18 points per model, so 4 points more expensive than a normal Space Marine, but take into account that they also have the close combat weapon included. And now we go to the real options. So up to 4 models can choose one of the following options. So one of the 4 following options, you only can choose one of them. So you can replace the ball pistol by a plasma pistol, 15 points. Or you can replace the close combat weapon with one of the following: power weapon, lightning claw, or power fist. Or you can replace the ball pistol, the close combat weapon, and the ball gun with a pair of lightning claws for 30 points. You can replace with one of the ball gun with one of the followings: combi bolter, flamer, combi flamer, melta or plasma, melta gun or plasma gun. So any of the special weapons and the combis. And finally, one of the chosen may replace his ball gun with one of the following: flamer, heavy bolter, melta gun, autocannon, plasma gun, last cannon, and missile launcher with frag and crack grenades. You don't have the flak grenades, anti-air grenades. Sorry, missiles. Uh, yeah, and everything with its own points. So take into account power weapon 15, lightning claw 15, power fist 25. And I will not go to all the points, but they have several options. So you have options for close combat weapons, and you have options for special weapons, and then you have one can have a heavy weapon if you want. Then the chosen champion might take items from the melee weapons or ranged weapons sections. So also access to the plasma pistol and again to the power weapons. So if you want, all 5 can be equipped with power weapons, for example. And then the chosen champion might take a gift of mutation. The chosen champion can take melta bombs. You can put marks, the corn, Thench, Nurgle, Slanish, 2, 2, 3, and 2 points respectively. You also can take the icons, and the unit can take veterans of the long war for 2 points per model. And also can take a transport, it can be a rhino as a dedicated transport. So you have a lot of options, and here is the part that you have to be very careful. If you take a lot of these options, this unit can be extremely expensive. So I recommend you specialized. Easily, if you take all with power weapons, you take 60 points additionally to the 90 points, so you will go to 200 points. It's very easy to have 200 points on a squad if you start equipping them. I see two ways to go. One is to have a close combat weapon, but you have to be careful because you don't have any any better safe than 3 plus, so you can be easily killed. And we will see later on that the chosen Terminators, for 95 points you have 3 of them, so you have to be careful with that option, because you easily, if you start taking power weapons, you will go in the range of 200 points. But take into account that you can have a unit of 5, all of them with different options on power weapons. Interesting, you can have the power fist and not being the sergeant, so he is not obliged to accept and take challenges. So it's one way to have a power fist that is not obliged to take challenges and keep doing the function that the power fist used to do in the past. Uh, you can take all of them without any close combat weapon and just put 2 power fists in the unit. You don't need to take all the unit with power fist, for example. I recommend to have some guys without equipment to absorb some of the shots from the enemy. But take into account that if you put them with close combat weapons, they should act as a alpha strike unit, a unit that just arrive and go into close combat. You don't want them to absorb fire because they are going to be expensive and they will die quite easily. Unless you can boost them with some invisibility, something like that. So it's a unit that is going to be, if you go for close combat weapon, you have to be very careful about. You will need a delivery system better than the Rhino. So you have made thing to put them into a Land Rider and yeah, and try to put them in close combat as fast as possible. If you want to go for that, I think there are options cheaper and better than the chosen. But this is one option. The other option that I think is quite uh, useful is to have a unit specialized on special weapons. You can put up to 5, and the sergeant can have that because they up to 4 models can choose. I may choose. So the sergeant is one of these 4 models. So you can have 5 special weapons because you have 4 models that can take the option, plus the model that can substitute later on the ball gun for one of the following. So the first part is 4 models, don't say chosen. The second part have to be a chosen. But for that you can have 5 melta guns very easily, and this will go for 140 points. Again, they are going to be an alpha strike. You will like them to put into Reno. In that case, it will be good enough to deliver them to the point they have to do the damage. You can have also units specialized on melt on plasma guns, but this is going to be more expensive. I will say the best options maybe are melta guns, or the other option will be then plasma guns. I will never take here the heavy weapon. Because the heavy weapon, if you move, you are penalized. So why you want to put a heavy bolter or autocannon or las cannon? I think this is more for the devastators or for the tactical units, not for this unit that wants to move close to the enemy and shoot. And these are the 2 options. You can try to increase the resilience of the unit putting a Mark of Nurgle. Then you will go to toughness 5. It's going to make you are going to add 15 points on top of the cost, so you will start for 105. And if you go to a close combat, maybe you can think on the Mark of Scorn or the Mark of Slanish. Mark of Slanish is very interesting because you will go to initiative 5. If you put power weapons that you can attack at initiative, with initiative 5 can be quite interesting, especially in front you have other uh, space marines. Putting the icons is going to be extremely expensive as well. Uh, you can put an icon. The icon of excess is going to be 35 points, so it's too much. I will say that if you start adding points, you can go for 5 guys to 250. If you go for 5 guys to 250, sorry, it's better that you think to use Terminators because they will do the same function and they will have better armor. Uh, and I think this is my 2 points here. So I will not use the icons. I think will make the unit very expensive. If I the marks are very optional. I could are quite good. I will not use the mark of Sench. I don't think makes sense in that unit. Giving the 6 plus invulnerable save will not make a big difference, especially most of the times you will like to be in cover. If you go to close combat, I think you can use the Mark of Corn or the Mark of Slanish. The Mark of Slanish can be interesting here in Initiative 5. And if you go for shooting, I will say the best option is the Mark of Nurgle, giving you this additional toughness that will make the unit more resilient. If you go for close combat, don't be crazy and try to combine normal weapons with specialist weapons. And if you, I mean, with power weapons that can be uh, power sword, power axe, or power fist, I will say that these are my best options. The pair of lightning claws can be also quite interesting. And if you go for specialist weapons, I will equip all them with meltagans. And remember, the sergeant in that unit is the one of the only cases that can take a meltagun, a plasma gun, or a flammer. And that's all what I want to share here. Uh, Let me know if you use them. I think they are better choices and specialized choices in the codex. The problem of these elite units, they are alpha strike, but if you are take by enemy fire, they are easy to kill because they are not more resilient than normal space marines. And if you put the Mark of Norgal, they're going to be like bikes space marines. And the bikes space marines have better mobility than the chosen. Uh, of course, if you go for the shooting option, put a vehicle, any of the two options. They will need a vehicle. If you go for the close combat option, I think the best option is to put them in a Land Raider to ensure that you will arrive to the close combat. If you use them as a shooting option, put them into a Rhino to guarantee that they are protected from the first zone of fire, and you can move them close to the enemy where they will make better use of their investment in weapons. Here is where I finalize this tutorial. Please let me know if you use them, if you use the chosen, how you use the chosen, what is the best option you find for them. That's all for now. As usual, thanks a lot for watching and see you again later. Bye.